Hello and welcome to my homestead. Today I would like to give you a quick overview of my citruses. Last time I did an update, it was in the late spring when they were finishing blooming and setting fruit. You can probably see the new colors on them. Yes, the fruit are beginning to change colors, they're beginning to ripen. So let's take a look. We have these beautiful lemons. You can see they're beginning to ripen, but there's also small ones. We have some navel oranges that are also changing colors. They're a little small, they didn't get enough water when they were forming. It was way too hot and too dry, so unfortunately they did not get their full growth, but I'm just gonna enjoy them anyways. So these oranges will be fully ripened just in time for Christmas. We'll enjoy nice, fresh, homegrown citruses. Same with these lemons. Now here I have another lemon. This one is a little bit further behind. It was very sick, and you can see it's still very green. They're still growing, they're still maturing. So it's going to be a while before they start changing colors. And over here we have some pomelo. These are small ones. Very small pomelo, but they're also beginning to ripen. Almost the same size as clementines. This is Newless clementine. As you can see, they're also beginning to change color. I took a lot of the fruit off this tree because it's just too small and it could not have sustained that much fruit. So let's go over on the other side. Let's walk around, take a look at the other pomelos. I'm gonna try and keep the sun away from the camera. Now there is another citrus tree, and this is the variegated lemon that my sister grows. She's keeping it here. It was sick for a while and it dropped everything, all the fruit and all the flowers, but you can see it has new growth and it has new flowers. Here we have some mandarin oranges. They're also beginning to change color. Unfortunately, this tree is very sick. You can see the yellow leaves. The branches have died. I have no idea what's causing it, but so far the rest of the branch is still growing. But either way, in a month or so we'll have our own mandarin oranges. And of course these two large pomelos. Now this is the afternoon grapefruit, or no, this is a pomelo. So we had tried it last year and it was absolutely delicious, so sweet and juicy. And I have some more navel oranges here. You can see some are still green, but at least one of them is ahead of time and it's ripening. Now we're about to get hard freeze next week, so all of these are going to go into the greenhouse and they will overwinter, stay in the winter and finish ripening there. together with these mangoes and papayas. Now the large papayas are still outside. They are a little bit more settled, and they're not afraid of the 40 temperatures in 40 degrees. But the small ones have already been moved together with the pineapples. So let's go into the greenhouse and take a look there. So here we are inside the greenhouse. You can see the tropical plants are already here. Well, at least the ones that are extremely sensitive. I do have my pineapple that's ripening. Of course, it takes 9 months for pineapple to ripen. But as it's ripening, it also sent out these babies. So the next generation of pineapples is growing next to it. I have a couple more, well actually quite a few more pineapples here. They're all doing quite well, and all the way in the back. There is a turmeric plant that my sister had planted. It's doing very well. And the baby papayas. I also have a couple of seedlings here of tomatoes that I started propagating for the winter, spring. There is another one here. Now you can ask me why I have a tray of water here. Unfortunately, somewhere here there is a hole or something where the finches come in, and I've already had to release them several times, so I don't want them to die. Therefore they have food and water here. If they do get trapped here for a day or so, at least they'll be safe and they have some source of food and water. I have a few of my garlic still overwintering here. They're drying out. Some of them will be planted in a week or so. And I moved some of the butternut squashes. These are the ones that my sister had picked earlier. They're staying here waiting for her, and the rest will be moved in here in a few days before the frost hits. Alright, let's go and take a look at my winter seedlings. I have a few things that are growing for winter, so let's go take a look at those beds. So here we are outside. Just a quick overlook. The beans are pretty much finished. They're drying out. I'm letting them go into the dry beans. So I have a few peppers that are still producing here. These will die off. I'm not going to transplant them. You can see they're doing quite well. I'll pick them off before the frost hits. And you can see the beans are still producing. I'm gonna pick the green beans before the frost hits again. But I also have a few peppers that are in pots like this one, and I'm gonna overwinter them, so I'll have some peppers for the winter. Now the big problem will be this baby. This is passion fruit. It's huge. I showed you before that it has been blooming. It had a lot of blooms. There is no way it can set up any fruit at this point. It's too late in the season. And in order for me to overwinter it, I will have to chop it down. There is nothing else I can do. I have a few tomatoes that are still ripening. This banana plant will also move into the greenhouse. It does not tolerate cold. I left it when we had a brief frost. It wasn't very deep frost. We didn't get below 34, but it was enough to cause some frost damage on it. It's recovering. It sent new leaves. but it does not tolerate cold temperatures. Now there is a lot of tomatoes still growing here. I thought they were all dead from the blight, but they bounced back. So most of these are going to die once the frost hits, but I am going to pick some of the green tomatoes off them. Some are already beginning to ripen, so they will finish turning like these beauties. But I'm gonna have a lot of green tomatoes for the winter, and some of them will turn on their own, and some will be used as fried green tomatoes or a green tomato pie. So here it looks like a huge mess, but you can discern where the carrots have sprouted. They're way too close together in some ways. But what I want them to do is really to loosen up the soil. So the roots will break down and they will loosen up the soil and make it a little bit more malleable for the spring. This is just winter crop. Most of this will not even be edible because of the nematodes, but that's okay. They will keep the ground covered. Not to mention providing food for bunnies. Over here I have some bok choy. They're going really well. And unfortunately, we still have caterpillars that are eating them. Surreal. But they will be okay for the winter. Bok choy is hardy. It does not care about the cold temperatures, and I love having them in stir fry and in soups. I have some sorrel here, some spinach. Spinach will be very nice for salads, and of course my chickens. More sorrel here, and more bok choy. Now in this bed, unfortunately, it's a disaster bed, or what I call disaster bed. It should have been completely covered with greens at this point, but nothing is growing the way it should be. For whatever reason, the soil is not right. Something is seriously wrong here. All of these green peas, all of this growth should have been at least 4 to 5 feet tall by now. It's barely a foot. They're just not growing. I don't know why. I have never seen anything like this. It's been a struggle, definitely. But in the meantime, I still have a few things here, like a few of these onions. Most of them already pulled out, but I have a few for the winter. And I have some radishes. They're almost ready to be picked. These are the giant globe ones, so it's still a little bit small, but I will let the rest of them grow for another couple of weeks and then I'll pick them. But if I want to, I can have them eat salad or as a snack. So the big thing will be to clean everything up. I still have some basil here my sister had planted. All of this will have to come out. As you can see, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. The next few weeks will be cleanup, trying to put everything to bed, get rid of all the weeds, and it will be the end of the season. It's a mess right now, but eventually it will look good again. But in the meantime, I will enjoy what vegetables I still have. There is still a whole bunch of peppers and tomato up front. I'm not going to go there right now. But Looking forward to having my own citruses. Like these lemons are still forming and still blooming. You can see the flowers. Some things are getting ready to be harvested, some things are still in production mode. So either way, it's a lot of joy for me. It makes me very happy to watch all of this. On this note, thank you for joining me, and until next time.